You guys, the situation with Charlie Kirk keeps getting more and more bizarre. So, if you are a liberal, a Republican, a conservative, a Democrat, whatever you are, I need you to take a break from your regularly scheduled hate, programming, infighting, and the ideology we've all assumed. Now, we do have things to discuss, and there'll be time for all of that, but right now, I never thought I'd say this. We need to keep all eyes on Candace Owens because she literally just did her podcast. I think it's maybe the first episode since her dear friend Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And the things that she shared continue to confirm the things that conservative radio host Michael Savage had said, that the things don't add up. But she went a step deeper and she shared intimate details from Charlie Kirk's side of what he was experiencing. There are certain things that happened and how he was approached by certain donors and Israel and refused them.
Essentially what was staged, an intervention was staged by Bill Ackman because Charlie's rational thoughts about Israel were a no-no. This is not the route that you should be going on. And Charlie was surrounded by his friends, his quote unquote friends. Bill Ackman was very upset and threats were made.
Candace Owens shared how recently Charlie had a meeting with these, I believe it was about 4 or 5 gentlemen. And at this meeting, she said, which has happened to others that do some similar things, that Charlie was offered a lot of funding to basically be re-educated and in Israel. At the same lunch, it wasn't dinner, it was a lunch in the Hamptons. At the same lunch, he then received a call from Benjamin Netanyahu, and apparently Charlie Kirk turned them down.
That is what I am told, and I will tell you that I am very happy for Bill Ackman to dispute this narrative. In fact, he was asked to dispute this narrative. Max Blumenthal went out to him today, and Bill Ackman came back and said, I have receipts I can show you. And he did not provide the receipts. This is not how it went down. I know it went down this way. I'm waiting for one of them to go on record and to say that it didn't go down this way. It was at this time that Bibi Netanyahu was called and Charlie was invited to Israel. This was an under duress situation, I would say, because I've been in these situations before. When I started asking very sensible questions about Israel, as someone who had dedicated her political life to supporting Israel, many times alongside Charlie Kirk, I was met with the very same pressure. And just like Charlie was being invited to Israel, I was invited somewhere else. And when this arrived to me, it felt like a threat. You know, I got to tell you that. It felt like a threat, like not like, hey, come here and we can educate you because you're my friend. More like, this is your last chance. That's how it felt to me. I can't speak to how it felt to Charlie. And I know that Charlie was offered a ton of money in this moment. A ton of money. Bibi would fund it, you know, spend tons of money. And Turning Point, I guess, if it needed to go to a higher level, would have gone to an even higher level than it already was at. And I know for a fact that Charlie denied that funding. That Charlie denied, and what Bibi didn't include there, he declined to go to Israel for, I would describe this as like, you know, re-education camp. You know, we've seen it. You made an uh-oh, but we can help you. You know, we just need you to come out to Auschwitz and take a picture. Yeah. We just need you to come to the Holocaust Museum and take a photo. We just need you to go to Israel and we can make this better. Charlie said no to Bibi. Okay. Bill Ackman, if you would like to dispute that, I would love to hear what you say happened, because our sources and what we have, it's solid.
And the dinner, or the lunch rather, did not end well. So I'm very intentional. The only reason I'm even saying this is because we're all being distracted and people are breaking apart on the conservative side from President Trump. In this episode, Candace Owens also went on to share about how Charlie Kirk was having a very strong change of heart about his support for Israel. And I already had an unction of this because when I was looking up more of his debates so I could have more context about the situation, I came across his last turning point, his network that he founded, USA Interview. His very last episode before the assassination, I think it literally may even have taken place 24 hours before it happened, if not 48 at the max, with one Ben Shapiro. And he asked Ben about what did he think about if the media was potentially lying to us. Mind you, this is after that meeting. And then also he followed up with several other questions. And then the question that I saw, which I'll show now, is he asked him about, does he believe that Israel is participating in the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians?
Years from now be, and how does one respond to the claims of ethnic cleansing? We're running out of time here, but just last question on this, Ben. I know this might be a tougher question, but Bibi said, quote, I didn't like how he said this, I'll be honest. You can't be MAGA if you're anti-Israel. I don't like it for a couple reasons. How did you analyze that statement from Bibi?
And it is totally fine to say to people who wish to destroy our civilization, no, your values suck and they don't belong here.
Where does all this resentment come from?
And you can literally look at the clip and see that Ben Shapiro was not expecting that, and he was uncomfortable. Trust me, I know. That's a face I know all too well.
So I'm not asking you by legal standard. I'm asking you, did he incite an insurrection, yes or no?
No.
Okay? And so Candace Owens is just demanding answers because in addition to completely rejecting Benjamin Habibi Netanyahu, he also was extremely vocal and transparent and pushing back on the non-releasing of the Epstein files. Like
big checks are being written, and that pressure was increasing every single day. In fact, he was telling the truth even about Jeffrey Epstein. Take a listen.
Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, but there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz-kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket, the kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the clouds that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just a hired gun. Maybe he was just the guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being blackmailed. The Epstein playbook is being used on a daily basis. Jeffrey Epstein was not a financier. He was not a hedge fund manager. Jeffrey Epstein was a key player in a multi-decade blackmail operation against the most powerful people on the planet.
Like he would not let it go. In fact, he doubled down on it. So now he will not allege his allegiance to Israel or go to this re-education school, allegedly. And he's pushing for the Epstein files to be released. One thing we can all agree on is that there is a lot of people who love this man that are followers of Donald Trump. Mind you, Donald Trump, who is the current sitting president of the administration that has continued to befriend and basically get in bed with, let alone continue to spend billions of dollars on war and support for Israel. And he told that man, Charlie Kirk, whether you like him or not, allegedly told that man no. So, again, like the conservative host Michael Savage said in my last reel, something is very wrong. And I'm telling you, y'all are distracted. And MAGA, they're counting on your hate and your ignorance, and they're using you. You need to continue to demand for the Epstein files and seek justice for Charlie Kirk. Because Democrat, Republican, however you want to identify or not at all, something is amiss. And they're wanting us to be distracted and enraged and counting on our hate to get away with it. They're going too hard with the narrative of division, because whomever is behind this, those powers only get away with it and stay in control through chaos. I believe that conservatives really thought, as Candace Owens' last interview all around this same time, right the day before this happened or the day of, with Tucker Carlson, said they really believed in Donald Trump. And they didn't expect him to be in the pocket like this of Benjamin Netanyahu. And now, if you don't get with the program and you're a conservative with one of these type of platforms, well, we'll see what happens with you.